Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. And a happy welcome back. Hopefully, everybody had a great Thanksgiving. A reminder, guys, since it has been a few days since we were live, that there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. And welcome back, guys. Like I said, to my Americans, hope you enjoyed a lovely Thanksgiving, spending time with your friends and family. We are ready to get back at it. Obviously, we've had, quite a bit of things happen in this market, even though Bitcoin has not quite been able to break out above 100K just yet. As Jackus's profile shows us, Ripple is ripping. We're seeing stimulus hit the crypto markets. Obviously, we had Hyperliquid last week. We have a Magic Eden airdrop coming next week. Just a lot going on, right? In the month coming into the month of December, where, yes, as the title shows, we will probably talk about the potential of a Santa rally, guys. But I'm Storlax. You also know me as Tommy. I'm, of course, joined by Jackus and Louis. Max will be joining us here in just a bit. But before we can talk about, really everything that's happened in the markets, whether or not we think a Santa rally is, headed our way, you know what I'm going to ask you. Your bellies are full. I hope your hearts are happy. Let's please translate it into smashing the like button, guys. We're going to have a great show for you all today. We're going to do our best to cook you up a delicious meal of alpha. And like I said, talk about everything that has happened over the last week or so since we have been live. And of course, the things that we think can happen here over the next few weeks. But really, as I look across the board to start the week, it's I know Bitcoin dominance is red, but it doesn't really feel like it, right? Because you look at your watch list, Bitcoin is green. I think Bitcoin dominance is red because you have something called Ripple absolutely ripping face here over the last week or so. Shout out Jackus, trading above $2.50. Where is it trading right now? Wow,
$2.70.
$3 here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So I know we're going to be talking about XRP today as well. But there is kind of like this liquidity siphon moment that we often see Bitcoin doing, I think, occurring within Ripple right now, XRP, because all the altcoins on my watch list are mostly red, except right. So many of these Dino coins have just been ripping face. I think Link started moving, Cardano started moving, XLM, EOS, IOTA. I mean, names that we haven't really seen move since 2017 or 2018, but contextually, that makes sense, right? Jackus has talked about this before, but Bitcoin is breaking out above, previous highs against money supply that we haven't seen since 2017 or 2018. So I think it makes sense that we're seeing the coins ripping that are ripping. But I hope you guys shilled some coins to your family members over the break. I don't know what it was. Maybe you were shilling them Ripple, maybe you were shilling them Bitcoin, maybe you were shilling them your resident meme coin. Probably, knowing this crowd, I'm gonna guess it'll be the latter. But of course, like I said, we are going to talk about the prospects of a Santa rally as we head into the end of the year. But I just want to touch on, before I open the mic, directly addressing the Santa rally question, that we do have very positive flows coming our way here in the next few weeks, and should be positive for crypto markets as well as equities. But maybe markets are a little bit slow to wake up today, still a little bit full, like I said, after a great week of food and family. But I'm going to go ahead and open the mic. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on the market. Jackus, I know you're going to want to talk about XRP. But how are we doing, guys? And what are we seeing in the markets?
Hey guys, I just told family members, that they can buy at the price they deserve, right? I'm just trolling. Like, my family has been, and my surroundings are lucky because I got them in at very discounted levels in 2022. So they they are printing it. They're like, they are nervous. They are nervous on the amount of money they are making right now.
Yeah. I literally had a friend text me who It's funny because I only have one or two friends I talk to about crypto anymore because the rest of my friends are just unbearable.
Mm.
Of them, but when it comes to crypto, it's just. But I had two of my friends who actually like listen to me and like take my guidance. And there were so many times over the last, let's say, year and a half where they're like, "What are we doing? Like, why are we holding XRP?" I'm like, "Just hold it. Don't pay attention to it." And those same friends were freaking out yesterday, texting me like, "What should we do?" I was like, "Hold on, because we're going for a ride. Hold on." So I'm glad I got a couple buddies into XRP as well at the lows, as well as hopefully, well, I know for a fact between me and Jackus, we definitely got some Discord members along for the ride as well. And and this is what we're looking at now. Just a couple weeks in a row of just straight verticality here. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Listen, I remember just a few weeks ago, which is crazy. And months ago, like we discussed this for a while, and people just kept attacking me each time I mentioned XRP. Like I've never had this before. Like I had this before many times, but like everyone fucking hated XRP, and even just the mention of it. But like it was forbidden to talk about it. At each time, it's like this. That's the perfect opportunity. I remember everyone here in this, comment section each time. Are you fucking stupid? Why would you mention it? Why? It's a stable coin. Well, you just got depegged. you got depegged to new all-time highs, brother. So, people think, by the way, that this is it, and our life, like enjoy your pump. This is it, and it's going to go back down.
Yeah.
Well, you might be in for a surprise, brother. But obviously, it's XRP is the coin that just goes sideways for a long time and it just shoots straight up.
Yep.
It's always been like it. It's just the way it trades. It never has a steady bull market. So if you cannot, and I said this before, if you cannot withstand the sideways days, well then, while you see other stuff pump to some degree, you don't deserve, and you cannot enjoy then the fruits of this pump, right? Because it's just, and I understand it, it's just sometimes it's too much to stomach. Some people just prefer steadily 2% up every day, and that's totally fine too. But yeah, I do feel vindicated with this one, and it's not as much even as I'm enjoying like winning on it with people in the BB Discord, which are making insane gains. They are already making it like people already made it right now with the XRP play before the alt season even properly began. Like it just beginning, but it's going to last for a while, and they already made it, and that's huge. That's the opportunity lots of people who did not get in kind of missed, because you didn't get the daily reminders. Because here, if as a content creator you just keep getting attacked, it's just hard to talk about something. Like why would you discuss something that people just keep bashing on you about? Like you try to help people, just not worth it.
It's something where I eventually had, like, I was super vocal on it, especially when I first joined BB, right? Super vocal on it, but after a while it's like, okay, why am I kind of spinning my wheels here? But for the times that I did, I'm grateful, because like I said, we got a bunch of people on, and then obviously we even have some viewers on the market check who also caught that alpha, and they're up way higher than where they bought, and that's just from a free YouTube show, right? Like you're not getting that anywhere else. So congrats to you, MK, and congrats to Jackus to being a legend,
and to you, Louis, too, because like Louis was on the same board with me. He was also constantly reminding to people the XRP play. It wasn't like he mentioned it once and then just like, I have my hedge tweet and that's it. No, he was like reminding people all the time. So we are writing this together for sure. And good job on that, brother.
Thank you.
And thank you, MK, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how this was kind of always my main thesis. And it could be unfolding where I've never seen such a large scale type of psyop to the point where they pretty much, and I believe it was by design. Like I'm not a full on conspiracy theorist, but I throw on the tinfoil hat every now and again, right? And if they're gonna create something that's gonna be the future of like, I'm not going to go as far like future of finance, but something that's going to be very big as far as an investment vehicle, and something that's going to be super important to the infrastructure of the way we do, finance and assets and cross-border payments. You kind of have to make people not want it, right? They can't, because like that, there's no other way for the large people to accumulate if everyone wants it and everyone thinks it's a great idea. So I really did feel to me, especially over the last couple of years, it really felt that they pretty much psyoped almost all of the native crypto participants into pretty much hating XRP, right? And it wasn't really any warrant to it other than the price action, right? The price action wasn't great over the last couple of years. It had a decent 2021. Let me go back. Had a decent 2021 with an SEC lawsuit under its belt, right? And we still kind of follow. Let me go to a different time frame here. We still kind of had a similar move here where, like Jack has said, XRP likes to do nothing for a long period of time, right? Like last cycle, I had this mapped out. I just retweeted. I did a little victory lab tweet, right? Where I tweeted this out a long time ago where we have this giant kind of channel here, basically trading sideways for 770 days. That's over 2 years or almost 2 years, right? And then with an SEC lawsuit, we saw a pump, like an 8x pump off the lows. Now we did the same thing, right? Had that so slow grinding channel that basically churns everyone up, makes everyone give up on it. And now without looking likely like there's going to be no SEC lawsuit this time around, and now we could truly do what we probably should have done last cycle. Like what we're seeing now likely should have happened last cycle and would have happened if we didn't have the SEC lawsuit against Ripple, right? It's just plain and simple. And a lot of people missed that. A lot of people saw this and they go, oh, lower high, didn't get back to the old all-time high. If it does do anything, it's going to do this and make another lower high. And trade lower. The context they were missing was during this move, they had an SEC lawsuit against it, which is giant. It's a huge bearish catalyst, and it still did an 8x. So to me, that was like, wow, like imagine what this thing is going to do without the weight of an SEC lawsuit against it. And my main thesis right now is that XRP will be the ETH of this cycle. And what I mean by that is ETH, for a high cap crypto or the number 2 size cryptocurrency, did sick numbers last cycle, like minted millionaires, right? And pretty much, went on like a 10 to like 12, 13x move for a large cap crypto. And I think XRP is going to do similar numbers to what ETH did last cycle. And pretty much if from its old all-time high in 2017, and you see where it went to at the end of the 2021 cycle, it did about a 3.5x from its old all-time high. So everyone's question right now is, oh, okay, great. Where do I take profits? What's your target for XRP? I don't give too many targets on this show because we have paid memberships. We pay a lot of money for that information, but you guys are lucky here today. And if my thesis is correct on XRP being the ETH of this cycle and doing similar numbers, we could see anywhere up to a $9 to $12 XRP, right? And that's just doing what ETH did, let alone if we get more bullish catalysts down the line. You have the stable coin now coming out, like so many bullish catalysts coming up here. You have potentially Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple working with Trump, another bullish catalyst. SEC lawsuit hasn't even technically been dropped yet. Maybe that's being priced in right now. But we could see XRP do sick numbers for a high cap. And right now, XRP holders are outperforming meme holders at the moment.
Yeah, you talk about false cycles, Louis. I kind of liken it in the same way to Bitcoin in the 2020 to 2021, right? I mean, it ran up a lot, but it was really, as Jackus has pointed out before, more of a liquidity-driven cycle rather than an adoption driven cycle. And I don't know if XRP is going to have, adoption, but all that matters is, what buyers think and what price is going to do, kind of in relation to that. So, in the same way that last cycle for Bitcoin might have been a bit of a false cycle, it was a false cycle for XRP, largely because the SEC didn't really allow XRP to, be opened to new markets that could potentially bid it up in what was at the time probably the greatest crypto bull run. So I do think that contextually it makes sense that we're seeing these 2017 coins catch the bid that they are. Given what Jackus has talked about in as far as Bitcoin's relationship to the 2017, 2018 cycle, where we are finally breaking new highs against monetary supply. It should not be a surprise that we are, in confluence with that, seeing 2017 to 2018 coins begin to pump a lot harder. I think XRP predates that a good bit, but obviously XRP went parabolic in that market cycle.
Yeah, I agree with your statement on last cycle. Because I mean, just looking at this, right? Obviously, you have the theory of decreased returns. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns, correct? Yeah. Because I mean, this, right, like 2017 or even this, like I don't have all of it here, but this was blow off vertical, blow off top. This was blow off vertical top. And this seemed a little curved, right? And that's what Tommy's talking about. Kind of had a double top, didn't kind of go full blow off top. And that could be exactly right. What he's talking about is, we had COVID, you had the liquidity. So this dropping so much coming into the cycle could have curbed, the outcome, as well as other factors, right? So I would agree that like maybe diminishing returns isn't a thesis this cycle, and we see something similar to what we've seen from previous cycles, which is 2017 or 2014, right, where it's more continuous grind higher into a blow off top, something like that. I'm not saying $1 million, but you guys get the picture. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Bro, I'm enjoying the cope so much in the comments.
I haven't even read it yet.
Like those people are legit having tears in their eyes.
It is what it is. It's a lesson learned.
Enjoy your gains.
It's
you
like
waited
that.
7 years in it.
It's like that meme, like, thanks, happy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, it's up another 24% on the day. Jesus. Like,
This is the first time in a very long time I can remember a coin not named Bitcoin that had the most volume over a 24-hour period. XRP did that over the weekend, which is, I mean, that says a lot. The bid coming from exchanges like Coinbase and then Korean-based exchanges like Upbit it's been intense.
To another context point that a lot of people miss, and Jackus has stressed this time and time again, but people forget because most people are new. Even people from last cycle didn't even know this, right? And that's in 2017, XRP is the only token to ever pass Ethereum in market cap size, and it was the number 2 token next to Bitcoin, right? And it could have honestly maybe even surpassed it for a slightly short period of time, but they, coin market cap cut out South Korea volume, all this and that, kind of caused the cascade and basically curbed the rip. But another context point is XRP was the number 2 crypto at some point, and for so long it hasn't been due to the SEC lawsuit and whatnot. People have forgotten that, so people are seeing these numbers and be like, "What is going on?" Well, it's not that outlandish and crazy because XRP, one of the earliest cryptocurrencies, along with Bitcoin and ETH, and history shows that it has enough volume and demand to be a number 2 crypto in this market. So that it's just another point that a lot of people missed. It's context.
Yeah, and to be fair, like what we do here is basically like try to present people unbiased opportunities, right? And like all these people who are like, oh, XRP did nothing for 7 years. Brother, you were probably the one who was holding it for 7 years and then you sold the bottom. Like those people that make those comments are the ones who bought the top in 2017. They held it all the way through and now they sold before the pump. We discussed this opportunity in the prior weeks and months that it's going to run, and that, you know, it held strong. Like after the August drop, after the August capitulation, it held much stronger than anything, you know. And that was the opportunity. The opportunity wasn't to hold it for 7 years. Like this, that's completely retarded argument. You do not want to be a fanboy of Bitcoin. Well, you can be fanboy of Bitcoin, like, you know, to what it is, right? But like the way you play it as an investor, you do not want to be like that fanboy, you know, in that type of context. You don't want to be a fanboy of XRP either. You don't want to be a fanboy of Sol. You just want to play the opportunity and the rotation when it's presented. And if you look at the XRP BTC chart, you'll realize it's basically just a giant range going on for a decade. And you had the opportunity to buy at the freaking range lows of that decade low range and just accumulate more BTC at the right time. Then sell, you know, just like the way we did it with Sol. When I was saying this in the middle of a 2022 bear market, that Sol will head to the, you know, nearly single-digit dollar valuation, and then it's going to do a cycle bottom there. People were exactly on the same bandwagon hatred against Sol back then. You know, everyone was making the meme Solana, you know, anal OS, and that it keeps get because anal OS is, you know, backwards Solana. That's my favorite one too. And like the way people worship nowadays Solana, it was the exact opposite back then, and that was an opportunity, and we played it. That was when everyone was hating on it, that it keeps getting switched off every single day.
Yeah.
People coped about the rally. The same thing was now. Sorry, guys. The same thing was and is still now for XRP, where people are, you know, it's just beginning the pump. It's not like, yeah, that's it, and now it's bear market again. You know, that's not the way. Again, you do not want to become the XRP maxi either. You want to just spot. You just want to spot the probability and play it to the best, and then move on to something else and outperform the market.
And I think a lot of not that it wouldn't have happened otherwise, but I do think that the XRP strength is taking a lot of attention and liquidity away from something like Solana, and probably will cause it to underperform here for a few weeks relative to other majors. I mean, we talk about when you talk about reflexivity, right? When expectations continue to go higher at an exponential rate for an asset, but the price is not. I feel like that's kind of where Sol has been here for these last few weeks, right? Everybody has loved to be on chain. Sol has suddenly become the consensus bet of the cycle. And then what happens, right? I mean, it's done well here over these last few weeks and these last few months, but you do have other assets that are floored. I mean, that's objective reality. XRP was an asset that was floored. Solana was trading near all-time highs. It only made sense that you at least saw catch up. But right now we're seeing some pretty drastic outperformance.
Yeah. I always say, don't put yourself in a box, right?
Yeah.
Like there are so many people who have been going, right? Like, oh, memes have been performing great, so I'm only going to invest in memes. But like, why wouldn't you want exposure to other stuff? Because these things are cyclical, right? Profit rotations are real. And that's why I've always been promoting, having both. Like, why not both? Like, why do you have to put yourself in a box? Because I guarantee there's a lot of people over the last couple of days sitting in meme coins that aren't moving, and they're chasing utility pumps. And that's kind of why I think we could see a cool off in utility and to rotate back to memes, because people are rotating out of memes into utility. Like, too late, you're chasing the pump. And people will
I
do
could
this
still
all
see
cycle.
memes coming down a decent bit from here. Most specifically, the meme coins on Solana. I was looking at some of the charts this morning, and something like Popcat looks pretty rough, which only makes sense. I mean, you've kind of been seeing that liquidity drain out of large cap Sol memes for a few weeks now, but this is kind of like the culmination of it that I think could be occurring here over the next few days. And maybe that signals a shift into other networks. We've always kind of memed, or people love to meme that will ever happen. But I've always said, I think the people who primarily transact on Solana underestimate how mercenary on-chain capital can be. And that reflexivity can still play out more than it has. But I do want to talk as well, guys, about the potential wealth effects of some of the things that we've seen here over the last few days and over the last few weeks. I'll mention a few things, right? First of all, I think the fact that 2017 and 2018 coins pumping, you probably reinvigorate a group of crypto participants that might not have been here in 2021, right? That might have come for 2017, for 2018. Some of their bags are pumping. Maybe their interest has been reinvigorated, if not their bags. I think there can be wealth effects from that. Retail is obvious, or XRP is rather a very heavily retail bought coin. So I think there are wealth effects that can come from that. Dogecoin being another one of those assets. And then, of course, you have these airdrops that are all very much lining up into a very favorable period of time. Jackus, you mentioned how they're making people rich before alt season. It's this is the wealth effect. This is how alt season happens, right? You get people rich, and eventually they want to move their gains into other altcoins. Maybe they lend against their new wealth in DeFi markets. So, I mean, these are all things that will be net positives for liquidity, I think, here over the next few weeks, and make our quote unquote alt season, right? That has such a negative stigma behind it. But I do think that a lot of these altcoins, especially ETH, will soon benefit from these wealth effects.
Yeah. By the way, like as I said, it's not as like I always recommend it to people exactly what you guys talked about. Always that have exposure to many sectors. You do not want to be just in memes. You do not want to be just in AI. You do not want to be just in XRP. And I never did this myself. Although I obviously said that XRP is likely to outperform all the majors this cycle and many mid caps too. Obviously, it's never going to outperform some micro cap because of market cap issues and so forth. But so isn't BTC. That's not an argument. But I'm enjoying this pump so much again, not because of myself. I'm definitely enjoying it because of myself and other people winning with me. That for sure. But the most I'm enjoying is the squeal and the cry and the cope of the people. Like they, they are so loud. They are like the NPCs during the U.S. election, basically. That's what they are, and it's just so enjoyable.
Well, I've always said reject financial nihilism. I don't hate the fact that you're seeing utility pump, and I think it's been pretty specific to a few markets, right? I mean, obviously you have a few Dino coins that have done really well, but I think the utility that has been pumping, it's not really VC trash. It's more older coins where the supply does not belong to VCs, and obviously nascent new markets, something like Hyperliquid that ran up 200%, while we were gone over the last week. So I do like to see the utility pumping, and it is a good reminder, right? That these meme coins, while they are kind of the dominant narrative of the cycle, and they probably will continue to rapidly and maybe even exponentially grow their market share over the market, there is still a bid and belief, especially among normies, for these higher utility assets.
By the way, someone in our Discord, and I hope you do not mind if I share your profit here, Uncle Big Daddy. Hopefully that's all right. but he just made 9,000. Obviously, it's a P&L, but it's more about
Oh wow.
it's more about the entry here at 0.5.
Wow.
Study that.
Yeah. I
That's
can't believe
where
he's riding that. So
yeah, that's crazy. 9,000%. Big
he
time, big
outperformed
time.
me.
That's yeah. That's BB community, making outsized return. But it's not just here again. It's more like we are winning on so many fronts. The BB community that is, and there has been so many plays along the way. But again, it's more that it's just so fun with so many emotions around it.
Yeah, there are. I'd love to know where you guys think the ball is headed next, right? And I'm not saying that, maybe the ball continues to bid XRP, for example, but when we talk about other majors, something like a Bitcoin and an Ethereum, a lot of people always get very hesitant when they see the coins pumping that have been pumping over the last week. I'm seeing a lot of TradFi guys, especially, really take the onus on fudding the coins and what that could mean for things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Where do you think this leads majors here over the next few weeks, guys? And that can be different, of course, for Bitcoin and ETH, given where they're both trading right now.
I think.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Where do you think the events of the last week or two leave Bitcoin and Ethereum here as we head into the month of December and into the end of the year, of course? Are you viewing this liquidity drain? Because like I said, a lot of people love to view, when these assets that have been pumping tend to pump, the market tends to locally top. Maybe we nuke a little bit, but obviously Bitcoin is in price discovery. We have a bit of a different context than we've worked with over the last few years. And, I know everybody that's holding ETH wants to know when ETH is going to pump next, given where XRP is trading right now. I don't think anybody wants XRP to flip ETH unless you're holding XRP. I know Jackus would probably love that. How far away is that from happening? Is that a realistic possibility here over the next few weeks, you think?
Let's see.
You wanna take it from here, Louis?
Go ahead.
That you were
I'm
going
just pulling up. I don't even know off the top of my head. I'm just looking at CoinGecko.
Because I do think that ETH pumps in December. That's kind of always been my plan. Obviously, the TradFi flows come in a lot heavier around the middle of the month and into the end of the year, which is why we get the Santa rally. I talked about that on Friday, or not on Friday, but I think it was maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, so I am as bullish on ETH here as not as bullish as I was on XRP, because as I said, I think XRP outperforms all majors this cycle. But I'm very bullish on ETH, and I think, and I said many times, it comes when ETH flips 4K, and it's basically just a formality now with the 3.5K reclaim. And I do think it comes potentially in December, because I kind of do not see us ranging between 4K to 3.5K for months. So I think it comes in December, but seasonality wise, I think the largest gains will come in January to March for ETH.
I concur with that statement. That was around the timeline that I was looking at as well for it. What do you think about Bitcoin here, guys? Bitcoin dominance is getting smashed. I assume that's a big product of the fact that XRP and some of these older Dino coins are pumping. I was just looking at my watch list, and I see Bitcoin green, and I see basically everything red, and yet Bitcoin dominance is also red. I'm assuming that's mostly because of XRP, but I feel like Bitcoin dominance is maybe a little bit misleading here, in that sense.
Yeah, I think right now we're having that consolidation right under that key 100K level, right? We just barely front ran 100K. So I think either, we've been consolidating over the last week or so on Bitcoin, which is obviously we're seeing what happens when, Bitcoin consolidates is you start to see other tokens start to pop off. Obviously right now that's, the higher cap utility coins. You know, as far as technicals go, right? Yeah, you know, we start breaking this local consolidation. I think we could head up into 100, 110K, something like that pretty quickly. If we start to, you know, continue to, you know, not break our local highs here, I think we could have maybe a longer term correction where we do see certain, you know, cryptos pump, but you know, Bitcoin will be consolidating and it'll be like select few here and there. It'll be harder to catch that wave. So really what it comes down to is, you know, Bitcoin, whether it wants to have a higher time frame correction here, which would be totally normal, right? Like I mean, look at how far we've come up from here, like to have a high time frame consolidation here after pretty much you know, like a 50% move for Bitcoin. You know, this was our target for the range, you know, basically kind of flipping this into support, creating market structure and go maybe coming into 2025. That's definitely a possibility. But really comes down to the lower time frame and what we do there right now. Obviously looks like we're rejecting a bit. But so really what it comes down to, I mean, we have a bunch of local lows that can get ran down here. I mean, we could even come down to, you know, 86, 84, something like that. Not saying that's my base case, but there is a possibility where we could do that and be totally fine and still be in a healthy uptrend. My gut tells me I think we're trading in the 100+ K range in the next couple weeks. And I think along with that, if we get that move, ETH will, you know, be trading, you know, up into the 4K range, you know, trading back into 4K. And I think the ball goes to ETH next, whether we get a local pullback before doing so. I think, you know, the ball goes to ETH next. And to answer your question, XRP, if it were to surpass ETH, it would need like a 2.5, 3x as far as market cap goes from here. And then ETH would have to not move at all, which isn't likely. So, you know, once you start getting those, XRP is going to pass ETH market cap talks, then you start to see ETH finally catch up and start to head up along with XRP. So I think the ball goes to ETH next for sure. It's been basically Sol, now XRP. I mean, ETH has come off the lows, but it hasn't done anything really yet. And I think after XRP, the ball goes to ETH. So I'm expecting higher for ETH locally pretty soon, but it depends what happens on the lower time frames. But regardless, within the next month or two, I think ETH is trading up at 4K.
I agree. And listen, XRP has always traded at par with ETH on the market cap side of things until the SEC case. ETH being slightly the leader and XRP occasionally flipping it. My take has been that it reaches that market cap, but I would also like to front run that narrative a little, possibly. And I think that the ball will definitely move to ETH at some point. But it's not going to be like one leg and then it's over type of stuff, you know. There is always an impulsive leg. There is always the escape pump leg. So there is going to be, you know, this is a multi-months play out for the majors and the whole space basically. So yeah, I mean, you want to play the rotations just as with anything. That's always going to be the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and by the way, XRP is not going to 10K. You know?
I thought it was going to 589, Jackus.
I'm already seeing that on Instagram and stuff. Like these gurus come out of nowhere.
And the thing is, right? So people tend to, you always have two types of people, and you want to be somewhere in between. So there's types of people who will be like, yeah, XRP is going to pump maybe to like $1 if you're lucky, $2.5, you know, that's it, you're not getting more. And then there's the guys who will just say, hey, it's coming to $10,000, and that's stupid too. So both sides are the losers. And you want to be in the middle. You kind of want to see the market caps, what's realistic, what's not. Give some room for euphoria and madness to kick in as well, because you know your reasonable targets will get overshot during a bull market. But it's, you know, it's somewhere in the middle, pretty much. it's not going to $10,000, but $1.25 is also underestimate, especially with all the triggers that it has, basically.
Andrew says my charts are ass. My profits ain't though, buddy. Oh,
Guys, do you guys know the best way that you can catch these profits and also catch the next rotation?
He does.
I think I know, guys.
Oh,
Yeah, it is that part of the show, guys. If you caught XRP, maybe you didn't, and you're upset that you did not catch XRP. Well, guys, we have the opportunity for you to maybe catch the next XRP or obviously the next rotation, either, through your go-to tool like the BB terminal or our Discord. I'm going to talk about those here for just a second. Apparently, you guys are not hitting the likes. So while I'm talking about this, I would be extremely happy if you could run up the like button for us. But in the meantime, guys, we were nice enough to package your go-to tool for the cycle, the BB terminal, guys. Right? That is your go-to tool, whether or not you are a derivatives trader, a lower time frame active trader, whether or not you are an investor looking to use the DCA calculator, or of course, soon, whether you are a degen looking to replace potentially some of the tools that you use to trade meme coins on chain, the BB terminal is the product for you. I promise by the end of the cycle, it will be your go-to tool. I cannot emphasize that enough. Of course, through our Discord, we talked about XRP for a very long time. Jackus has been all over this place since I think 2023 when we first met. He was talking about how XRP would outperform all majors. And if you want alpha like that, you can get it from our Discord, guys. We package these things together for you, potentially at discounted rates. We have links in the description below. But it's so important to be able to not just get that alpha to be able to overachieve in this cycle, but also so that you can find your community to be able, of course, to conquer this market cycle with. But like I said, we were nice enough to package these two things together. We have more information linked in the description below. Of course, not pictured, but also equally as important is the BB Academy, which is obviously our course that we made as a team that is, a team of 5 or 6 different traders. So that's invaluable. Being able to learn not just from one person who has been crushing these markets, but also, 5, 6, even 7 different people. So check out the BB Academy as well. You are running out of time. As you can see from XRP, nobody wants to prioritize education when the market is straight up, but it is an invaluable tool. And there is never a bad time to be honing your educational base or, of course, reaching trading level mastery. And of course, we also have BB Wealth Management, guys. Maybe you want Jackus to manage your money, or Louis, or anyone else on the team, right? Maybe you're mad that you missed XRP, but we don't miss these things very often. Of course, we do have an SEC registered hedge fund to capitalize specifically on the asymmetric history of upside returns this market can produce. So, if becoming an LP or an accredited investor is something that interests you, we do have a product for you as well. Like I said, more information linked in the description below. But back to you, Louis.
Pepe. Well, I think we need to study the like button a little bit. So for now,
did they not hit the like button?
No,
man,
barely. You got over 500 people watching. You got 220 likes. That's less than half of you. Piss poor performance.
I might end the stream right here.
Yeah, let's just call it.
I might end the stream right here. Our first day back. Maybe they're a little bit lethargic from all that turkey, all those carbs. I mean, for me, my Thanksgiving, I don't know about you guys, but I'm big on carbs, and my family makes a lot of them. I mean, we probably have, obviously we have turkey, but we have, I would say, like 4 or 5 different carbs that we eat as well. So, maybe you're a little bit lethargic, guys, but even still, hit that like button for us. We would be very appreciative. So I don't have to.
They are just coping, Tommy. They cannot stomach our talks about XRP.
They were withholding the likes.
The most hated rally.
The most hated rally, indeed. Rightfully so.
I mean, soybeans coming into demand here, guys.
Coming into demand. Mega demand. I owe Max 10 cents.
Yes, you do. Maybe you can see a nice little bounce here for the soy boys.
Nobody nailed it today as Booty Bandit. Crypto's the only place where you can make a 10x on a large cap and people will try and troll you because you didn't make 1000x on micro cap memes.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw someone also comment earlier. Someone commented earlier.
Yeah,
he was like,
he's going to put $10 into a micro meme, right? And he's going to be like, "Oh, I made 100x." Congrats, buddy.
Yeah. Someone was like, the boys are happy with a 4 or 5x. Meanwhile, Pepe's already hit a 22x. Well, guess what? We caught that too.
Yeah.
we know all about Pepe. Thank you. So yeah.
We are fully loaded on Pepe before probably.
And this
like
is,
Tommy was. Wait, Louis. Tommy was buying. It's true he sold a little bit too early, right? But he was buying Pepe before he got listed on Binance. And trust me, he was buying in big time with the BB Wealth Management Fund before the big rally in 2023. So, do you really think we don't know about Pepe? Wake up.
We could look at Pepe once we get to 300 likes. We're at 284. So till then, you can check out my face. See what's going on. Soybeans is looking to have a reversal here.
People just love to hate Louis, right? But I'm always faithful to the loyal community who knows who knows and appreciates the alpha shared every single day through even the most boring times when we show up daily here. So yeah,
you go
here for those.
Someone goes for first XR peak loading, now soybeans.
I think they've had enough of soybeans. I think they're hitting the like button. Yeah, we're above 300. We can back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Nice. Very good. See, I knew you guys could do it. You guys are just being stingy. All right, let's look at Pepe.
Some of these other assets that are pumping, Louis. So let's look at some of the Dino coins for once. We usually don't do that.
Yeah, let's look. I had Uni up earlier.
I would just add every 2017 or 2018 coin to your watch list, and we can look through them.
Yeah. You got something like Uni up nicely off the lows here. Another one we've been riding. Got a couple people in the Discord into this. I think a lot of these Dino coins come back to at least their, complacent shoulders from the bear market that sent them to the lows, right? So, you could just continue to churn and rotate profits into one after the other, and get pretty much. I'm not going to say anything's guaranteed, but you have a lot of money sitting out there that it's you can just continue to rotate these 3 to 4 X's over and over again, and guess what? If you have 3 or 4 3X's, you got a 12X, right? Eventually, right? If you do a couple 3 or 4 X's, you get that 10X, or you could just play more risky and just hope for that 10 to 12X. So you take more of the sure thing, you do it a couple times, and boom, you got your 10 to 12X. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. I also saw that QNT was pumping today, up 20%.
I'm not buying it. They deleted their Twitter to go to what's that new social media site?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. All right. So screw them. I'm not even cover them now. We don't do that anymore.
QNT, man.
What else?
I'm getting nostalgic here over the last few days with everything that's been pumping.
H-bar too.
H-bar has been sending XLM ripping multiples. I think XLM is actually the best performer.
Yeah. Look at this triple bottom. Holy shit. This could be massive, honestly. Look at this chart. This is what I'm talking about. Like Filecoin. Like no one that came into crypto over the last 2 years knows anything about Filecoin, right?
Dr. Outlook knows
But
about Filecoin. I remember him talking
Yeah.
about that in like 2023.
yeah, but I mean, it could do probably another 4 to 5x from here, 2, 3x, something like that. Like, there's a lot of money out there. Beautiful triple bottom. Like, a lot of these things are coming out of their multi-year bottoming formations, right? And you don't put in these bottoming formations just to do like this, right? Like, you're gonna do something like this, and then if it doesn't get all the way back, fine. But it's definitely gonna make it's gonna do multiples.
I do not know if you guys remember, but like I do not actually know when I said it, but I remember I said it, and I was saying like, what if the Max Payne is people selling all their Dino coins for, and like all the old utility coins and centralized exchange coins in general, we could say, and just chase low market cap memes, and then the market makers decided it's time to pump the old
Yep.
centralized exchange tokens, and then everyone
it
will
works.
fucking cope. And guess what? Everyone sold everything on centralized exchanges and chased memes.
Yep.
And now the people are coping about it. And guess what they want to do? They want to sell those memes and chase what's pumping.
I can't even remember when it was, but it might have been in 2023. I said that it was either XRP or Dogecoin. Maybe it was even Litecoin would get an ETF before Solana. Because I think the holder distributions of these coins are so much different, right? And obviously it's a completely different regulatory regime than what we were working with last year, but I don't think it should at all be a surprise that we're seeing these coins pump the way that they are. And I don't think that it's end of cycle things. I know people are going to see what's pumping and be like, oh crap. Usually when these things pump, it's not a good sign for the market, but I think it's just kind of a palate wetter, more or less.
Say more wet.
A palate wetter, yeah.
Is this Zcash, ZEC?
Oh man, we had a subscriber that's been talking about this one for
It's
a while.
bullish.
Really?
Yeah, Barry.
Wait, can you put it on regular mode, Louis?
Yeah.
Not yeah, that's climbing up. The thing, the problem I have with some of the Dino coins, all right? So like lots of people said, like, look at what happened to XRP or so. Let's buy Litecoin, all right? So I always had a problem with that because while yes, it will go up, the outperformance isn't there because you do not really have much of a catalyst for it. You only have like, you mostly just have bag holders, to be honest, from a Litecoin that are looking to escape on a pump from it. You do not have like a SEC case that can get resolved. You do not have a stable coin launching on it, and so forth and so forth. You want to have these type of catalysts, right? It doesn't matter what they are, but you want to have them because it's something people can justify for the price pumping and they can buy based on it. But anyways, what you want to do, right, whether in which of these you are, is ideally find the right, like what you don't want to do is hold them for 7 years, right, before they pump. You want to find the good timing, if you can, before the pump, and then scale and rotate and compound. That's the best play you can do. And usually in each cycle, it's been the flow where it goes from Bitcoin to high caps to mid caps to low caps to micro caps. And it seems this cycle is no different.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that's still floored. I mean, we could have a Dino utility run for a lot longer than people think, in my opinion. There's just so much stuff that's just sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
And I don't think it's bad that these things are pumping either, too, because it's kind of the MO, respect the pump. Respect the pump on others,
Respect
and
the
it
pump.
it
Yeah.
will be bestowed upon you. People getting rich is not going to be bearish for your altcoin. It just
Yeah.
means they're more likely to have more money to buy it.
It's
What
more
do
money
you
than
think?
sloshing around.
What do you think Louis and I will do with the XRP profits? Right,
Yeah.
we will move them on and buy other stuff, and we will look to compound. So, and that's how lots of smart people will do it. So it's essentially bullish for, and that's also the reason why BTC pumping in the first place is bullish for everything, because like that's exactly what smart people do, right? Like they write the profits from BTC, which goes first each cycle, then they move them on, and then they move them on, and then they scale out, no emotions attached, and they do not fight. They try to stay as objective as possible, and that's the side you guys want to be on, basically.
Respect the pump.
Respect the pump. Enjoy others people winning. Truly, be happy for others winning, right? That hate is going to consume you guys, and enjoy it. I sold bottoms before, and although it was painful for me, I was very happy for other people who stayed in them and made money. That's how you gotta approach life.
Yeah, Link's about to go too. Look at that.
It looks good. I think Link BTC looked really good too the last time I was looking at it.
Yeah, that's kind of a food for thought. What do you think, or what do you think happens to alt the cycle, guys? Do you think like the BTC dominance, and obviously BTC dominance is a meme, right? To a certain degree, but do you think it like heads to new cycle lows at some point? Do you like think that these charts, especially now with the regulatory clarity coming in, which I called for a long time, is going to be a game changer to a big degree? Do you think there can be a sustained altcoin BTC rally? And I mean, there are few alts from past cycles who have been outperforming BTC consistently, and obviously they have long bear markets, right? But in each cycle they are higher than they were before, like AIF, for example, or even Doge, right? So do you think the game is going to change from here with the regulatory clarity, or do you think that this cycle is going to be a typical one, and at the end of the day it's just BTC?
I mean, I'm in agreement with you, Jack, is that diminishing returns are a meme, but I think with that comes diminishing drawdowns are probably also a meme. And people will convince themselves that that's not the case, that altcoins cannot draw down, just like they did last cycle. I mean, I remember when people said things like Luna, ETH, Luna, Sol, AVAX, these things wouldn't draw down. I don't even remember the targets for a bear market being like, oh yeah, my aggressive bear market targets are like $40 AVAX or $50 Sol, and then they drew down 80% from those prices. Some even more than that. So I don't think that that's going anywhere. Personally, I think there will probably be a handful of altcoins that maybe have institutional bid is kind of funny to say with that, but maybe we have like 2 or 3 that have an institutional bid. But as a whole, I mean, Bitcoin is the most reflexive asset in all financial markets. I think that altcoins are just going to continue to more or less, even if some of that volatility dies down a little bit, which personally I'm a little bit skeptical that happens. If we think this can be the craziest cycle ever, then I do think that diminishing drawdowns are probably also a meme as well. But yeah, that's just kind of how I view it.
Yeah. I honestly think this is probably the last cycle for altcoins where, not last cycle for altcoins, but the last cycle where we will be able to see tokens being able to be launched so easily, right? Like you see how the meme market has just been completely flooded with it's a new token or it's a new 100 tokens almost every day. I think as the asset class matures, and we finally do get some actual regulation where they give us guidelines as to how you're going to be able to do business in the future. I think that meme coins being able to, like, someone being able to launch a meme coin without any regulatory access and stuff like that, that's going to be gone. So I think this is the last cycle where we see, a meme or an altcoin frenzy. I think this is actually going to be a crazy altcoin season, probably one of the craziest. And I think once, everything dies down after this cycle, we get a regulation. I think it's going to be lean more towards, yes, there'll be meme coins, but I think it's going to lean more towards actual crypto projects that actually do stuff. And you're going to need, regulatory access and ability and just to create a token. You can't just be creating tokens out of thin air. So I think this is the last cycle for that. So there still beholds a lot of opportunity out there as far as altcoins go. But I think once this cycle completes and things get crazy, they're going to be like, all right, we got to dial this back. We got to, restrict access to everyone and their mothers being able to make, just to print assets out of nowhere. And there will be more of, guardrails where the crypto industry kind of has to guide by, as far as like legal issues go. So I think this is the last cycle for that. So for that reason, I think it's going to be probably the craziest and probably closer to what we saw in 2017 with the ICO craze and stuff like that. So we will see. But yeah, I think this is the last crazy altcoin, meme coin cycle, as far as, being able to print tokens out of nowhere every day.
I do very much think that as well, Louis. I think that this cycle we saw pretty much like people launching every single possible name in existence.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing, right? Because the way isn't to forbid stuff from launching. The way is to actually allow everything. People will just go that way. It will just overpopulate that thing, and then it's going to kind of die from that. Like you will get such an extra dilution that that stuff will just start imploding again. And so when we like go full circle with this, I think, as you said, that this cycle, and I think it's going to continue, by the way, for this cycle still, right? But we are talking about the future ones. And I think that's the road as well, where it's going to be more for the actual ones that do stuff that are to some degree abiding the regulations which the governments will want. We can think about this what we want, but this is just the real world we are living in, right? That's just what it is. And yeah, I also think, by the way, like, what do you guys think about the stuff that, like, it's going to be just BTC at the end, right? Like, all these alts are fun, but they all launch, they pump, and then they, go down again, and it's all just going to, over time, evaporate.
I don't know. I mean, that's such a difficult question to answer. I mean, I feel like most of the probability of that scenario somewhat died, given the regulatory regime change that we're seeing. But also at the same time, it's like you said, Jackus. I mean, if we're just left to our own accord to do whatever the hell we want, we might just blow it up ourselves. So I don't know. I mean, maybe the end game is just Bitcoin. I think the asset that will always be the least likely to draw down the most will always be Bitcoin. So for that reason, I think that statement will always somewhat hold true. But the idea that altcoins could just die is I don't know. I don't think that you can completely rule it out, but I think it would take things getting a lot more frothy before that happens.
You want to add something to that?
Up with leverage and debt. The government wouldn't be willing to bail us out. And I've kind of hypothesized that inevitably the way that would happen is we would have to tether ourselves to TradFi or other countries in a way that could cause them systemic risk. And then I think regulation might step in and be like, hey, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, eventually the crypto market as an asset class will mature as a whole, right? And it'll have it's still in the infancy stage, right? I mean, where it's coming out of the infancy stage, becoming more like a teenager or growing up to be an adult. I know it's a weird analogy, but as like the crypto asset class as a whole is not going anywhere. The question is what's going to be left standing when that happens. Your probabilities of stuff like XRP tied to a major billion-dollar US company likely going to continue to be around when the regulatory barriers come down, right? And a lot of these projects will get kind of that free pass, into the new regime. A lot of meme coins will go to zero. A lot of crap projects will go to zero. And the strong will survive, similar to how we saw in the dot-com bubble, right? 2000, you had everything. Their stock, I wasn't around for that, but from what I've heard, what the research I've done on it, you had companies just putting .com at the end of their name, similar to meme coins, and the stocks would rip thousands of %, and millionaires were minted during that .com bubble. But once that the bubble popped, not saying that crypto is a bubble, but it can get bubbly, right? Towards the end of the cycle, once things kind of crashed, there were only a handful of select few companies that made it out and went on to be the giants of the tech industry we see today, like an Amazon, a Google, a Microsoft, stuff like that. So I think we're going to see something similar to that, where this is our .com bubble type era, part of the cycle. And then after this, we will see what really, holds utility and has the market has an appetite for. And those projects will go on to be, long-term holds, for generational wealth moving forward, in my opinion. If you bought Amazon or just held Amazon from the .com bubble to now, you're up like, if you invested a couple $1,000s, that your position's worth millions of dollars, and all you have to do is just hold it. Right. So I think we see something along the lines of that,
Yeah, that's a fairly good point. It's always hard to know the difference between when the stuff is still within the adoption and when it turns into a bubble, because during a bull market you keep hearing people, especially the perma bears, saying stuff like bubble, bubble, bubble all the time, right? And the thing is that at some point they will be right, but the stuff can go very long way in the meantime. And that's the hard part of finding where it's really out of hand and you want to sell, and when it's still within an adoption. And I picked, as you mentioned, I picked just NASDAQ. This is a weekly chart, and it's been rallying for a long while. And the thing is that lots of people were calling for a bubble already, in 1996. And we do know that now from hindsight. But the thing is that we are in a very similar spot, and people are behaving the same way, and they are pretending to be the smart ones, yet they are acting literally the same. And if you look at this chart, right, it just kept going up for many years, and people still were saying it's a bubble. And yes, at some point it gets to the bubble stage, but look at how high it went even from here. And it never even after the bubble peaked, it never retested even these levels ever again, where you already saw that it's a bubble in beginning of 1996. And that's my point. You have the mean price action, and then you start to get into the bubble territory, and that's kind of where you want to sell. But it's not that easy to distinguish that. And when it comes to our beloved industry, I think we are in that adoption, definitely in that adoption phase, and it is going to go for a long while. And the thing is that lots of stuff actually might be scammy, and lots of stuff will simply not exist in a few years or a few decades. But that's the same stuff with stocks. If you look at the top 10 stocks, the sort of Mach 7 from the year 2000, there is only Amazon from that time, but the rest died out. like nowadays you have Mach 7 that makes 37% of S&P 500, but you also had these types of numbers, similar ones back then. So obviously, stuff changes along the way. And what I think happens to crypto, I just think that lots of these projects, even if you or I or anyone doesn't really understand them properly, from a simple, like logical sort of things, they are like the industry is just too big right now, or already, to just drop. Like at certain point, BTC got too big to ignore and to fail. And that's the same thing with all of these cryptos. They are just too big nowadays, and they will continue to take away the dominance from BTC, and they will continue the adoption. And obviously, there's going to be lots of them that die along the way. New ones will pop. And we do not yet know what the solutions will be. After all, like social media came into being 2012, I think, right? Think about when smartphones came into being, right? It was the first iPhone. What was that, like 2009? I'm not actually sure, but something like that. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, we do not have that many solutions just yet, but think how early we are in this. You have to think stocks hundreds, 200 years ago. That's when stocks came to being, and lots of people thought that they were all scam back then. You have to think from that type of perspective. And right now, for example, I think one very real fundamental use cases that crypto is bringing is definitely stable coins and definitely the betting poly markets. Like that's real stuff, and that is going to stay here. And that's a real world solution, by the way. And yeah, we might get some regulation onto those to some degree, as much as it will be possible, obviously, because the regulation fortunately has some limitations in this industry due to the certain amount decentralized position, but it has some limitations. But it will come to some degree, and these things will stay, and we will see what else is going to happen. But my point is that it's too big now, and it will happen, right? It's not that you will just see each cycle, memes just pumped and go to where they were. No, like I think there is going to be a consistent bit through the decades.
Yeah.
Even. Yeah, go on. Sorry, there's that lag.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'll probably will be like the tech bubble, where there will be some sort of massive pop at some point, but it will sort the cream of the crop out from the rest. And those are going to be the assets, like Louis was saying, that that get passively bid consistently over time. It might be difficult to imagine some of these assets being traded like a Mag 7 stock, but also at the same time, if you really believe in this industry, you can't completely rule a scenario like that out.
Look at this beautiful logarithmic mean channel. This is the mean value, pretty much. It's not that like 2008 was clearly, the deviation of it. Let's make this, the mean channel, or we could put it, make it green. This was clearly the bubble phase, but also look how long the bubble phase lasted, right? That's also quite some time. So it's always, and we know that by valuation, if you look at the PE ratios of stocks in 2008, they were ruled at super discounted levels. And obviously, historically, we know that what the stocks did in the past decade. But yeah, you want to be riding the trend. You do want that. So.
Well, fortunately, we're at the top of the channel, so it looks like we could be headed into red. At least when you point, or when you paint the picture like this to me, Jack, it makes me feel like tech and equities could get a whole lot crazier here over the next decade or so as well.
Well, yeah, we totally could be at the top of the channel, but we could totally also break out, on the and do similar stuff. And that's what you do not know, and you want to play the trend as long as it is there. But even if we were to pull back, we can still do these little moves right before we actually head into the final phase. So it's totally possible that we are yet to kind of hit this area, and that's basically a year. That's an entire year of market upside, even if we were to pull back. And also, if you look at this one, this is where everyone expected the Nasdaq bubble to kind of happen the same way and go to like 5K. Did not happen, and you ended up higher up. So you want to be playing the chart as what it presents to you. And when it comes to the, actually, let me do it. This is kind of your,
Can you imagine?
mean average.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, is double-digit trillion market capitalization that hard to imagine?
That's not.
New,
but breaking out above the channel is kind of difficult to imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe at some point in the future, right? When like truly the world is kind of running on like all these crypto applications, when the internet is, maybe, it will get to, this type of stuff. After all, like, if you look at, and actually let me look at Dow Jones here, but like if you look at it, like stocks have been around for a while, right? And what if you are basically right now on cryptos? And by the way, there were stocks before too, right? So just keep that in mind. But
I was actually looking at some fractals around that a week or two ago, Jackus.
Yeah.
Old DGI charts.
Wow. Yeah, I love those. What if maybe you want to cook on those, Tommy? I'll let you do that. I'll just quickly touch upon this one. But is that hard to imagine that, for example, you're at the early innings of this one, right? And then you're gonna get at some point, so like, you could be like wherever, and at some point, so like you're gonna get a cycle and another, that at some point there will like be a true use case where it gets to a real bubble. Then you kind of get like the Great Depression, right? But by the way, look at the years 1929. Imagine if that happens around the same time. And then people call for, and people back then called for stocks being scammed. Nobody trusted stocks during this period. And even this one, like stocks were just pure scams, just like crypto is.
It has been foreseen.
You gotta love how patterns replicate.
Human emotion.
Psychology. Human emotion.
Well, it is at the end of the day. High time frame.
Maybe Tommy, you want to cook on?
I don't have enough time to cook on it today.
All right.
I also don't have enough developed in the thesis yet to really cook on it, but it is something that I've been obviously fractaling, given that that's my thing. But just looking back on comparing, trying to, like you said, Jackus, associate our current time period with any parallels that I could find in the 1920s, or maybe even perhaps earlier than that. And we were just doing previous long-term market cycles expedited because the flow of money is so much faster now. But yeah, no, it's I do think you can, like, when I talk about crypto super cycle, it's more or less things like that I'm referring to, right? That you are so early to crypto that you feel late. But in fact, Max Payne is that you're stuck here forever.
Hopefully one more blow off before then.
But yeah, guys, that concludes today's show. We hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that you had a great time back from Thanksgiving, a great Thanksgiving week, for those who celebrated, of course, and even for those who didn't. We're happy to be back with you here this week as well. A few quick things before we officially wrap up, guys. I'm going to share my screen here really briefly. Obviously, as I already kind of touched on it a little bit here earlier in the show, guys, but we do have some products that we offer you that can potentially help you conquer this market cycle to the best to the best of your ability and the best possible way that you can. We give you these products through obviously BB Terminal. We have our Discord, guys. BB Terminal is your go-to tool for this cycle, whether you are an active trader, whether you are an investor, of course, whether you are a degen. We have something for you with the BB Terminal, and it will probably, there's no probably, it will become your go-to tool by the end of this cycle, and we continue to build it out. So, you buy now before the price rises, and we're going to continue building in functionality to the terminal. So a lot to be excited about with the development there. And of course, as I said earlier on the show, if you missed XRP, maybe you missed Pepe, we did not. We talked about it in our Discord for a very, very long time. And really, as a team, we rarely miss anything in this market. So shout out to the BB Discord. We were nice enough to package these two things together for you at discounted rates. So take advantage of those, because as we always say, as the market goes higher, the possibility that these prices do as well. Of course, as I said, we also have the BB Academy, guys, which is our educational course. If you are looking to reach trading level mastery or even just hone your educational base, this is an invaluable tool for you to be able to do that, because you're able to learn from effectively the entire team of traders, how we analyze, how we look at markets, and ultimately how we trade. So take advantage of that as well. Also, all linked in the description below. And as I said as well, if you're interested in having the team manage your money for you, we have an SEC registered hedge fund as well, BB Wealth Management, which is linked below too. But that's it from us, guys. Market Check will be back for another episode tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as Market Talk, which is our Twitter space hosted by King Wabi. That's through our Because Bitcoin Twitter account. So make sure to stay following both our Twitter account as well as King Wabi's account. He does a great job hosting that show, so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but also when we go live. But thank you, guys, as always. We'll be back tomorrow, like we said. But until then, guys, thank you as always, and stay safe.